Well, I think it's time we talk a little bit of everyday carry for your truck or your car or your minivan or whatever it is you drive. You know, first off, most of the videos that we produce for you guys come about either because I know or we know that it's something important, or we see enough questions roll in that we say, hey, people need to have this information. So what do you have to have with you in your car or truck? If you've been to one of our courses or followed us long enough, you know that I like to start any kind of a discussion or any training or any type of an endeavor where we want a good outcome by saying, what is our goal? So when you leave home in your truck, in your car, what's your goal? Usually it's to get wherever you're going and then get home again, right? The discussion of what you need in the vehicle, though, really depends on a lot of factors. How long are you going to be gone for? Where do you live? Who's with you? How far do you have to go? And then some unknowns. I'm up in the Midwest here. It can be 100 degrees in August and it can be 30 degrees below zero ambient air temperature in January or February. So I need to plan differently depending upon the seasons. You may have to as well. So some of the things that I might have in the truck here are not going to be applicable to somebody that lives in Phoenix, Arizona. That person does not need to be concerned about starting a fire to be warm in August, right? Whereas somebody in Alaska who has to cover 500 or 800 miles might be concerned about those things. So part of it is really starting to understand your mission. Not to get corny, but that's what it is. What is the area that you're operating in and what challenges might you face? I've got a story I remember from being about 18 or 19 years old. I had an F-150 with tires on it about that tall. It's a cool truck, 5-liter EFI motor. And we went up on a fire road in the mountains in Colorado and got off the road into some snow and got buried. And I had a come along, which I'll show you I have in the truck, and I had some tow straps. But I was with my sister and a couple other folks, and none of them knew how to do anything except sit in the car and wait for me to get us unstuck. It was probably a 3 or 4 hour walk back into town. It was getting to be dusk. Thankfully, we had what we needed. Otherwise, we would have been sleeping in the car above 10,000 feet that evening. That's not some harrowing story, but had I not had a $50 device, I would not have got my truck out of that situation. Big picture though, I should have never taken the truck up there. So part of the discussion of what you have with you is knowing how not to get yourself into problems. So I'm gonna just go through some of the things that I always have in my truck, always, regardless of the seasons. Here's one, my big med kit from D-Dey. In addition to this medical kit, which this kit, guys sometimes see if I pull this out in videos and they say, oh my God, it's thousands of dollars. It's not thousands of dollars, it's hundreds of dollars, but there's a reason that it's hundreds of dollars, and I know how to use all of this stuff. I'm an EMT and I'm trained to use it. So I have all this. I also have some additional medical gear that you would not want to have if you didn't know how to use it. Things such as an AED. I have one in the vehicle at all times. I've got O2 that we can administer if there's a problem. So this thing goes with me. If I get in the wife's car instead of the truck, I pull this out and it goes with us. That's something that's always with me. Something else that I always have is a pair of good gloves. My buddy Z Durham, Instructor D, gave me these years ago and I have abused them, but they are a real durable, solid flight glove that you could use to grab onto something sharp or hot and intervene. Something that's always with me. In addition to that med kit, I've always got 2 North American Rescue cat tourniquets set up, ready to go in the passenger compartment. All of this stuff is up in the passenger compartment. I just pulled this stuff back here for the video. What else is in here? I always have this bag right here. And this bag's got all kinds of good stuff in it, but some things that I think are important to anybody in any place is, what's the bag for? Well, if I had to hoof it, I was in South Dakota a year ago for a training gig out there and got a bad flat tire on the side of the highway, and of course I fixed the tire and continued on, but had I not been able to or had some other type of breakdown, I was a good 2-hour walk from anywhere with no cell service. So food for thought. This bag would be a nice companion. So I've got a pretty substantial blowout kit. This has a tourniquet in it, chest seals, things of that nature, wound packing material, general first aid, and blowout material. I've got multiple bottles of water in here. Duct tape, yep, duct tape. I've got some 550 cord. This 550 cord is daisy chained, ready to go, in case I need it for myriad of tasks. It's just too easy to have it and be able to access it if need be. This is great. I love having this, and I have put this on before. Changing a tire, I put this on. A lot of accidents happen on the side of the road from people not being seen, motorists hitting you as you are out trying to deal with your car. Yes, it says security on it. You can order something like this for $5 or $10 and be visible, but it also makes it look like you belong wherever you're at. You can think about that and put that into your own context. I've also got a few snacks in here. I've got some high-calorie bars. I've got Cliff Bar, Lara Bar, that kind of thing. Honey. Honey keeps basically forever, and huge amount of calories in there. In addition to that, in this bag is, dropping some food, is some electrolyte packs, some drip drop. This isn't for some like extended road trip, but if I gotta sleep in my car overnight, I'm not gonna go to bed on a completely empty stomach. What else do I have in here? Pocket mask. I have one in here and one in the car. So for CPR, I've got a pocket mask ready to go. I always keep 1 or 2 little cans of pineapple juice. Again, hydration, high caloric, not high caloric, but I've got some sugars in there to keep myself going. And this you might find interesting. This is a pry bar. I got the ends wrapped up so that it doesn't destroy my bag, but I can use this to break a window, pry somebody out of a burning vehicle, help myself escape if I'm trapped somewhere. In addition to that, these rags come in handy for anything from a handkerchief, neckerchief, to fire starter, to wound packing or something of that nature. And this is not something that you maybe have to mimic what's in this bag, but this is just some stuff that I have found is handy for me, and it works out. What else do I have in here? In addition, I've got more blowout material on the front of the bag. Got a really high quality Surefire flashlight with good batteries. I check those from time to time. Good quality light, not something that's gonna crap out on me. Boo-boo, Band-Aid kind of stuff, just simple medicine cabinet materials. So long before COVID ever hit, I always travel with some nitro gloves and masks. It doesn't take a genius to think if you're involved in some type of scenario where you're applying medical aid, you might have a sick person. Got another North American Rescue TQ in there, and that's like the bulk of what's in this bag. I've also got another really good set of gloves, because if I had to grab this bag and bail, I've got everything in here that I need to kind of get through most problems. Got a really good Leatherman in here. Again, you're not going to do everything with this, but there's a lot of stuff you can do. That's a good SOG Leatherman tool, or multi-tool rather. Leatherman's another brand. Now, something else that I have in here is a big boy magazine, and that's something else that you can think about as to why I would have that. But that magazine's loaded up and ready to go. Oh, did I say a magazine? I have 2 magazines. So that's this bag that's always in the car. So again, I jump in the wife's car, I can reach in the truck, grab that, and take it with me. Other things that I always have on hand. I buy painter's rags, cotton painter's rags. You can buy them 5, 10, 20 pounds at a time. They're great for anything. Imagine all the things you could use this for, from cleaning your eyeglasses to wiping a face. If you had to get some water on here, you can clean yourself. You could use this as a makeshift mask, wet it and use it as a mask in a smoky environment. I can use a couple of these or a larger one to make a sling. I can use one of these as a makeshift tourniquet if need be. I can use this as wound packing material, on and on and on. And as long as you're not destroying them, you can wash them if you're not using them to clean grease or body fluids, and wash them. So I usually keep a small handful of these on hand. You know, you spill some coffee, I've got it handled. This always rides around in my console. So two things, that bag I showed you, that bag just stays with everything loaded in it. But on my road trips, and I drive a lot, you guys, I drive 30 to 40,000 miles a year. Every time I leave home, I see car crashes. I see all kinds of bad stuff on the road. Just in the last year alone, I recently broke a window out of a burning vehicle and helped get a woman out who had multiple compound fractures. The vehicle was full of smoke. She was elderly, and I was there for 5 or 7 minutes before the fire department got there. Not to pat myself on the back, but had I not been there, there was nobody else that stopped that had the means or the initiative to get her out of the vehicle. They just thought, we don't know what to do, so we'll just watch. So certain things I always have in the truck on the long road trips. I showed you some of the snacks that were in this bag. Again, high caloric content. Of course, you can't keep fresh fruit, but when I leave home, I usually will grab an apple or something like that. Dried apricots are awesome. A high source of calories, sugar. You guys might think sugar's bad. When you're doing stressful things, you need some sugar. This company, 88 Acres, I love 88 Acres. They produce some really high quality products. They use seeds, and this isn't a pitch for them. I just like this stuff. These are seed butters, so think of like peanut butter or almond butter. They're seed butters, and they taste like that, like a nice nutty flavor. One of these has like 9 grams of protein in it. Actually, this one's got even more than that, I believe. And it's high quality food, and it's something that I can just keep in the truck so that if I need it, if I can't stop, if there's a traffic jam, if maybe I am intervening in a situation where somebody's got diabetes or something like that is experiencing blood sugar issue, I've got something for them. Mixed nuts, super easy. These things will keep, throw them under the seat. If you need them, you've got them. And now, I know to some of you guys, it's like, yeah, I'm an adult. I know the stuff I need. Cool, man. Then don't throw it in your car. I'm just showing you what I do. Super simple plastic ammo can because it's waterproof. I've got a jump battery or jump box, and my truck came from Ford with a inverter in it, but I've got a small inverter here that I could use. And of course, in addition to this jumper, so if you don't know what this is, cables go into here and you can jump a dead battery with this. It's basically a capacitor. In addition to that, of course, I've got regular jumper cables in the truck, which we'll move forward in a second. These things have a plan though. Every time I go on one of our big road trips, which is every month or two, or a couple times a month sometimes, I pull this box out and I guarantee that that is charged. By the way, if you're a road trip person, do you leave with an extra set of keys? Do you have those keys somewhere that you can access them? Let's move forward on the truck here a little bit and just see what else we've got. So by the way, this topper here comes from Diamondback. It's excellent. This is my 3rd one, and they really, really, really hold up. I'm going to move you back just a little bit here. If you're going to ask me about the truck, let's see, this is a 17 EcoBoost 3.5 EcoBoost F-150. Some good Victos boots. These stay out here because these are totally waterproof up to here. I have those with me if I get somewhere where I didn't realize that I'm going to be in the slop or mud, or I have to do some type of self-rescue, myself got stuck. I can throw some good boots on and keep myself from getting mired down. Talk to you guys about that come along right here. 50, 100 bucks, depending on the brand. I've had this one 4 years. You can move a vehicle with this device. And that's a pretty handy item. In addition to that, I've always got a couple 10 to 20,000 pound toe straps, snatch straps on hand. I've got a small socket and wrench kit in here. I've got a few hand tools like this. Last time I used this, a retread off of a semi-truck came up on my last road trip, hit the fender on the trailer, and I was able to grab this and bend that fender off of the tire so that I could keep driving. Otherwise, I would have been SOL. Some rain gear. Definitely need to have rain gear with you. I always keep a few things like zip ties. I've got a handful of zip ties in here. So because of what I do for a living, I've got D-lead. I'm gonna head over to the other side. You guys stay with me. Again, like I told you guys, this is not the end all be all. This is some stuff that I've found has worked for me. How about this? How about a high quality fire extinguisher? Yeah, that's super important. That is super important. I've got a tow chain in here. I've got some fire making materials out here. I've actually got a small jack in here that I can jack both my truck and my trailer with, or somebody else's, and it's accessible where I don't need to tear my whole truck apart. Coming back. Yeah, that whole having to tear the whole truck apart to get the jack out routine sucks. So I carry a pretty high quality prying device. After that last car fire that I was involved in, and I was able to take a hammer that I keep in here and break the window out to get her car open. This is something that I could actually have got some purchase on and pried the door. This wrap gives me good purchase in case I was bloody or wet, and you can do some smashing and a tearing with it for lawful and ethical purposes, right? All this stuff is just food for thought. What I'm trying to get at and get you guys to think about is not just having certain things. None of these things mean anything if you don't know how to use the thing, right? So that come along or some of the medical equipment, who cares if you have it if you don't know how to use it? So more importantly than just having stuff is to have an idea of the things, the challenges that you might face, and then develop real legitimate skills to deal with those challenges, and then you can plug in tools if necessary. My friend Joel Gupton likes to say our greatest resource is resourcefulness. Our greatest resource is resourcefulness. So how wonderful is that if you develop and cultivate a mindset where whatever problem comes my way, I'm going to logically think through the problem and solve it bit by bit. Thing is, if you have some stuff with you, man, it's makes things a lot easier. You know, if you need a screwdriver and you're trying to use a pair of pliers for the job of screwdrivers for, yeah, you can get it done, but it's a hell of a lot easier with the right tool. So think about the things that you have with you and why. It's not all about weapons. It's not all about combatives or doing crazy stuff, but it is about getting home to your family safe. And if you are called upon to do the right thing and intervene in somebody else's calamity, hopefully you have the skill, the wherewithal, the gumption, and the courage to do it, because somebody else's life, their liberty, their family's existence may depend on you. So be thoughtful, be mindful of how you train yourself, how you solidify the things that are here inside of you and here, and seek to do right. Don't be dickheads, friends. Love you much. Peace.
I said I got me some gunfighter gun law. Gunfighter gun law, baby. Gunfighter gun law, no more gunfighter blues. Made in the USA, amazing lubricity, 100% synthetic, baby. So it's gonna last you longer. So go on CarryTrainer.com and order yourself some gunfighter gun or gunfighter lube to get rid of your gunfighter blues. I said go on and order yourself some gunfighter lube. Yeah!